welcome. Thank you to today's webinar, The Future of B2B EDI powered by Boomi. My name is Scott Porter. I am the Business Development Manager here at NeosAlpha. And today I'm going to be joined by our two other speakers who I will let introduce themselves. So firstly, Mukesh.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be meeting you. I'm Mukesh Gehlot, founder and CEO at NeosAlpha. We have been a Boomi partner for last 8 years, and I have 25 years of industry experience on integrations, API, and related IT consulting and services.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Diego Alcantara. I'm a solutions engineer at Boomi, and I work really close with our customers, trying to understand how the Boomi platform offering can help you, with all your challenges related to integration, EDI, and much more. So nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Perfect. So yeah, today's agenda, we expect that it will take us just under the allotted hour. We're going to start off with an introduction to what is EDI, the core components that make it essential for modern businesses. Moving beyond the supply chain, we'll see how EDI benefits other industries and processes. Diego is then going to provide an overview of the Boomi platform, followed by a live demonstration showcasing its capabilities. Coming back to Mukesh, we'll cover holistic EDI essentials and strategies to maximise the potential through seamless integration. And following this, we'll look back at some of our customer use cases and then why NeosAlpha is the ideal Boomi partner for your EDI needs. And finally, we'll open the floor to your questions in our interactive Q&A session. So for now, I will pass over to Mukesh.
Thank you, Scott. So what is EDI, right? Electronic data interchange, EDI, was emerged in the late 20th century, and kind of the sole purpose of was that to standardize the document exchange between the partners and the document exchanges, which were electronic document interchange. It was pioneering in the automated business transactions between partners. And even after 70 years or so, right, still accounts for more than 60% of the B2B transactions electronically exchanged. It has the EDI has actually been built on standards such as EDIFACT and NCX12. EDI covers quite a lot of breadth and depth of the types of partner interactions you would have, with its kind of tons of the library and documents about the standards, document types, formats, communication protocol itself. So it actually laid a very, very solid foundations for modern supply chain management. Initially, the EDI was adopted more in the automotive and grocery industries, but today we see EDI is actually being used across many, many industries. And with the use of EDI, the supply chain systems has become quite a bit of more efficient, much more efficient, fast, and cost-effective to run. While the legacy EDI were very foundational in kind of automating the business transactions or automating the data exchange, often it poses several business challenges in today's environment when we deal with a lot of modern business applications, as well as the demand of more real-time supply chain. Here are some of the challenges which we're going to talk about. One being that the legacy technology, right? Legacy EDIs is built on very old technology, which requires quite a bit of specific skills. And also the systems are very, very difficult to maintain and manage. And the systems are not agile enough. That leads to quite a bit of challenge, right, in terms of not only the agility and time in which the changes could respond to, but also the cost of maintaining and changing the legacy EDI systems. The legacy EDI systems also lack many, many features and functions which could be available today in a modern EDI system, such as real-time data processing, advanced analytics, and maybe high protocol security functions, etc. These systems or these functions which are absent in the legacy EDI makes the whole EDI platforms quite inefficient, and it results in a missed opportunity for business optimization. Very bigger challenge in the legacy EDI is also its capability of around integration. because the legacy with, again, the newer IT infrastructure around where you have the cloud applications, you have the ERP application, you have SaaS and myriad of other applications. The EDI systems should be able to kind of easily integrate with other applications which are in the ecosystem. And not being able to do that means that it kind of impedes the larger digital transformation automation effort and the larger kind of supply chain optimization efforts in the organizations. Legacy EDI systems can also contribute towards creating data silos. What I really mean by that is when you have critical information, right, regarding the partner exchange is being isolated within the EDI system, then it is not necessarily accessible to the larger organizations with different roles, etc. This limits your ability to leverage the data which is there in the EDI systems and provide analytics or business insights around. Many of the challenges which we discuss here, right, could actually be addressed by Boomi, which is a low-code, cloud-native, unified integration platform. So at this point, let me hand over this to my speaker of our webinar today, in terms of talking about the Boomi platform and how it can deliver a modern-day EDI platform. So handing over to Diego, but I'll keep the slides with me.
Thanks, Mukesh. Hello, everyone. So let's start talking about really what Boomi is, right? So Boomi is an integration platform as a service, right? And it contains a wide range of solutions that you allow for a smooth software interaction, data orchestration, and process automation, right? With integration at its bottom. So next, Mukesh, please. So with integration and, at its bottom, the Boomi platform can really enable our customers to connect and integrate their applications. Plus, our B2B EDI capability as well, it makes Boomi the perfect player for all of those customers out there who are having, having challenge and to modernize and integrate their internal applications, plus B2B EDI with their trading partners and so on. So integration will enable you, to do application integration for anything, anytime, anywhere. And that coupled with our B2B EDI capabilities as well, we will enable you a seamless collaboration with your trading partners and also eliminate the high cost of the legacy EDI that we're mentioning before. Right, not only that, Boomi also contains elements of master data creation with our master data hub solution that will allow you to create, let's say, that single source of truth that will represent the objects and the nouns of your business. So if you think about all your business partner information, your employee information, they usually scattered in silos across different systems and applications. With Boomi Master Data Hub, coupled with all the other functionalities, you can create that unified single source of truth around the records, that dictates your business. So we also have an API management capability built in our platform, which now will allow you to design, build, and manage, APIs on top of all of your integrations, your data, master data hub creations, B2B EDI integrations, and so on. With API management, Boomi will enable you, to collaborate with your internal and external teams, right, to leverage, engage, and also leverage, engage, and govern your APIs via, a service, let's say a master data, an API management solution, state-of-the-art features with many capabilities for you to let's say manage and engage with your trading partners, your customers, your internal users, so on and so forth. Following the trend of the market as well, where most of the, let's say, integrations were moving into a more event-based, right? So Boomi, seeing that demand on the market, also created its own event streaming solution where our customers can adopt, directly from our platform and include, and change the paradigm of the integrations to a more event-based, leveraging still our single unified platform. And at the end of the spectrum, we also have a workflow solution We've talked about, connecting applications, systems, apps, vendors, employees, and so on. And now it's time to also talk about how we can integrate and include people for approvals, exception management, and much, much more into our business processes. Then that's where Flow come into play, which is a low, no code application that allows you to develop apps, for end users' customer experience. And one of the great things about Boomi platform is also the level of unified experience that you have across all the different elements of our platform. So with let's say a single resource, a well-trained resource, you can have someone developing and creating integrations and workflow across the different elements of our platform. So you can create integration, B2B, EDI, modernization, develop APIs, master data hub, everything under a single unified platform. Next, please. So in how Boomi EDI management works, it's really 4 very easy steps. First, you define, you set up and manage your connection to your trading partners. Right? In the Boomi platform, as I mentioned before, it's an iPaaS, and our solution, it's no to low code. It's a low code solution, easy drag and drop interface where you do the second step, which is build, where you can configure your B2B EDI integrations through our web-based visual experience. And once you've developed all of those integrations and workflows, you are ready then to deploy those processes. Right, so that is our third step, right? Where after you've created, you can then package and deploy all of your EDI and workflows, to our runtimes with comprehensive security, authentication, and state-of-the-art features that can deal with all of your data compliancy, security, so on and so forth. And at fourth, manage. Our platform also going to give you a very comprehensive, unified dashboard where you can monitor all your EDI processes, your application integration, the data flow, and so on and so forth. Just extending, next slide, please. Extending even more around the Boomi B2B EDI capabilities, we can give you, right, immense flexibility around all the different layers within our platform. With pre-built connectivity, Boomi contains those components that we call connectors, and it encapsulates connectivity for many solutions of the market. So think about SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, and hundreds more of applications. On another layer, Boomi also allows you to do all the translations that you need to do, right? Your data enrichment, your data transformation, your process orchestrations, and much more. On the EDI standards layer, Boomi helps you to implement, the communications very easily for any communication protocol they might be using, AS2, SFTP, FTP, you name it. Boomi will give you that capability. Not only that, we also implement out of the box within our platform, the most well-known EDI standards out there in the market. So you don't really have to worry about implementing and creating those and understand those very complicated document formats, because the Boomi platform will do that for you very easily on a click of a single button, right? And then we have a layer of engagement via our EDI partner self-service onboarding portal, via our workflow automation, our API management capability as well, where you can expand the way you are now engaging with your trading partner, customers, so on and so forth. And of course, the visibility, very important, with our EDI dashboard and process reporting, where you have 360 view of all your process executions, EDI transactions, so on and so forth. Now, next, what I'll do is I'll quickly show you a demonstration and a look and feel of our Boomi integration platform. So I'll just need to share my screen now. One second while I share my screen. Hope you can all see my screen right now. Perfect. So this is the Boomi integration platform. So it's an iPaaS solution, multi-tenant as well. As you can see here, that's my user in my tenant, Boomi Diego Alcantara. And this is the canvas where our users, they build their integration processes. So here on the left-hand side, I have my process library that contains all the components that I've built and worked on. Here at the center, we have our canvas where you develop and drag and drop your process and shapes and so on. Here at the center, we have our palette of shapes, action, logic, and connectors, and so on. So here you can see all the shapes that you have available for you for either at execution and logic to your processes, but also our library of connectors. And here is the element of our platform that will give you greater capability, speed, and flexibility when talking about integrating with your trading partners. So Boomi contains connectors for many solutions of the market. As I mentioned before, think about SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, you name it, right? Boomi does have capability to connect to many of those applications. Many protocols, FTP, SFTP, HTTP, so on and so forth. Now, there's one really great element when talking with EDI around the Boomi platform is our trading partner component. So if I drag and drop my trading partner component here on the Boomi platform, you see it showing now. And what it does is it really allows me to configure, create, and manage my trading partners in a single place where I can manage many different configurations and information about them. I can define my communication method, and when I add my different trading partners, I can then, create and configure many information about them. So if I click here on my trading partner element of my platform, that's a pre-built one. I've built it before and configured for you. And as you can see, it's my Boomi Enterprise and Trading Partner. And I'm exchanging that in an EDI standard format. And in here, in a single place, in a unified view, I can define my identifier. I can manage the elements of my standard configuration. I can add many, many different informations and configuration around my EDI standard, let's say, exchange, and process that are taking place with my partners. I can manage contact information, and very important as well, I can manage all the communication protocols in a single place. So for example, here we've already configured FTP. So we have our FTP communication created here on the Boomi trading partner. Plus, I could also add many other different communication, let's say, methods as well through my trading partner. Right, so then going back here, you can add all the different elements, so on and so forth. So this is trading partners, one of the elements of our platform that really facilitates and give you that speed around, creating and managing your trading partners in the Boomi platform. I just want to switch to you now to a fully created, let's say, real life example of, EDI process in Boomi. So here, what you can see is we have EDI trading partner here in the Boomi platform. Okay, that's a process in the Boomi platform. I have my trading partner configuration in here. Then what we're doing is I'm querying my documents via a specific protocol, FTP in this case. Then I'm converting that EDI element file into an SAP iDoc orders 05 format. And another very powerful feature of the Boomi platform is our mapping chain, is where you can transform incoming data into a different format to, a destination application format that you want to integrate with. So if I click here on my mapping shape, you would then be able to see all the data transformation and element around that's happening between converting a D968 order into the format order 05 that it's accepted and understandable by my SAP system. It can be done in a very easy way. You just need to drag and drop again as well. You can drill down into the elements of your mappings, your profiles. You can drag and drop and, and release. And that is one way how you could do those mappings. You could also use what we call Boomi Suggest, which is AI machine learning capability that's been on our platform since 2012. And it actually learns from the pool of more than 300 million integration data points that Boomi has in its databases. And it then suggests to you what fields you should be making those links to because it learns from previous experience, from what other people have been doing and so on. And it's gonna, give you a suggestion in a high, medium, and low confidence way of how you should be making those links and those connections to. So again, the Boomi platform really facilitating the life of the developers, the integration developers for our platform and so on. So here it's now integrated into our SAP system. And now what I want to do is quickly execute this process. And as you can see, another very great feature of our platform is the flexibility around where you're going to run your processes. Here, as you can see, the runtime element of my platform, I'm having the option to either run it on a cloud or on a localized runtime that I have on premise. So this is one of the great features for customers of ours who have, data privacy, compliance that they need to follow, where the data must stay on premise. It should not go to a cloud for processing, so on. So with the Boomi capability, you don't have to have that worry. We have state-of-the-art data privacy compliance features to help you with all of those needs. So there we go. Our process has already executed. And as you can see here, if I go on my logs, it's running on a debug mode. I can view the incoming document, my e-defect document that's incoming in my process at the moment. Here I have a routing shape. Then at this moment, it's being transformed into an SAP IDOC orders 05. I can also view the transformed format into IDOC, and then now being sent into my SAP system. And towards the end, I can also view the return that has come from my SAP system, right? The IDOC has been sent and added to execution in my SAP system. So this is one quick example of a real life scenario of how you could quickly and easily implement your EDI process and workflow with Boomi. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mukesh.
Thank you, Diego. Can you see my screen back again?
Yep.
Yes.
So moving on to the next part, right, of our presentation here is talking about the holistic, EDI essentials. While working with many of our customers, right, in kind of helping them transform from their legacy EDI infrastructure to the next generation, we came across the list of features and functions, right, which were really important to build that holistic next generation EDI platform. And this is what we kind of want to discuss here now. One being the automated workflows, right? So your ability to kind of have the automated workflow, not only working through the straight through processing, but also probably also including the exception scenarios where you can really manage it in as much possible automated way. The modern EDI systems must also offer the web accessibility, right? Not only for your internal users, but also for your partners in terms of onboarding, being able to kind of monitor the transactions, as well as being able to exchange the documents as well, which we would cover later in the later part of our webinar as well. Another feature which is really, really important, right, is the robustness in which the platform can actually handle the error handling and exceptions, and try to manage those error handling and exceptions also in as much possible automated way, but still allowing a manual intervention, right, for the intervention as well as for the resolutions. A newer age, right, or the current age of EDI platform has to offer a real-time capability. We all know that the traditional EDI is more of a batch processing, hence I'm re-emphasizing kind of the real-time capability around this particular platform. Interoperability, being able to kind of work across different types of systems which exist, as well as different types of protocols which exist in today's world, not only the older protocols, but also the newer, right, the APIs and a lot of security mechanisms which are coming with the API in terms of authentication, authorizations, etc. Being able to work with that is also an equally important aspect. Security in terms of data transmission, I'm sure, right, everybody agrees that we cannot compromise in the day and age where we are living. Security is of utmost importance, and the platform needs to cater to that. Again, right, as we kind of move towards very, very large, batch-based transactions to more real time and increasing in terms of the volumes of the transaction, as we see all around, a very, very scalable infrastructure of the EDI platform is very important and critical for us to succeed and make it future-proof. Visibility and auditability, again, it's a very, very important feature to be accessible that, right? Once you build a silos, if in the legacy EDI system, the silo systems are there, and that's why not able to have an end-to-end view hampers the way in which the platform as well as the errors can be managed, whereas the next generation EDI platform should be able to offer the visibility and auditability across the value chain. And last but not the least is accessibility, right? In terms of being able to kind of include newer functions as well as kind of remove something which is not necessarily there. So rather than being more of a black box kind of functionality, what we really prefer as an EDI platform, which is open to add or removal of that functionality. And that kind of put together, a 360-degree EDI framework, right, which we would recommend to our customers. During the course of this particular webinar, right, in the remaining time, what we would really like to do is that we have picked a few of these aspects which we want to delve down further into the detail in terms of how we would do it, what would be the recommendations, and how we have worked with various of our customers, right, in terms of in order to implement such features. The first and foremost which comes to my mind, right, is in terms of this is the integration capability of the EDI platform. If we take a step back and really look at the EDI transactions, right, we might just not only see that it's a delimited file which is being exchanged between the partners, but there's actually two ERP platforms of the partners talking to each other. And that means that you can understand why it is really so important, right, to have the ERP platform talking to EDI platform in a very, very seamless manner. And then not having a standard-based, loosely coupled integration platform between the ERP and EDI can really pose a significant challenge, and it hampers to deliver the synchronized supply chain operations which you would have. The organizations today change their backend systems quite frequently, and not having an integration platform can really become, these problems of not necessarily having a right platform would get amplified if they decides to upgrade or change their ERPs. In absence of a proper integration, right, between the EDI and ERP systems, a lot of manual errors, right, or the errors which would happen in the platform would probably get siloed between one or the other systems, which will also include that manual efforts to identify the error, where the error has happened, and how do you reconcile that. But in that reconciliation, if the ERP and EDI systems are not reconciled, then it will also create inconsistency across the applications per se, right, between the EDI and ERP systems. And if these, ERP and EDI systems, this reconciliation is not necessarily addressed in time, that may result in a negative impact as well as kind of inconsistent report. Again, if you have really approached the integrations with a custom-based integration platform, then as the organization's IT landscape or infrastructure, right, with the new inclusion of a best-of-breed software, SaaS platform, cloud systems it becomes very, very complex. In order to have that is why a proper integration platform or the need for a proper integration between EDI and ERP becomes the utmost importance. In this particular picture, what we are actually showcasing is we actually worked with a UK-based retailer where they were actually having quite a lot of, on the right side, they were having quite a lot of EDI interactions with their contract manufacturers, third-party logistics providers, as well as the wholesaler and retailers, right, whom they were working with. And in order to work with this difference, right, or variety of partners, they needed a platform which can actually support different types of protocol, different types of transaction, different types of storage, as well as have the ability to interact via APIs to the partners. And on the left side, right, when we really see the ERP systems which are there, then they were using one particular ERP. In the future, they want to kind of migrate to a bigger and higher ERP. And that is where they really needed a capability which can easily connect to the different types of ERP. And here again, the Boomi platform, with its capability of end-to-end integrations and having an integrated EDI platform, really helped them a lot in terms of delivering a next generation EDI platform right onto that. Not only this, in the middle layer, we were also able to kind of build the integration templates and the EDI templates, which were quite reusable, so that they were able to kind of manage as many partners, and as new trading partners gets onboarded, it became easier to manage. The next one is EDI as APIs, right? We all know that there are a lot of challenges related to the legacy EDI, more so, right, in terms of some of the aspects which we already covered. When we really look at this, we find that API management platform can really address quite a lot of challenges which EDI system offer. That doesn't mean that the traditional EDI could be replaced by APIs. We think that it is both of the approaches are complementing each other quite well. A traditional EDI, we all know, right, requires a manual configuration in terms of onboarding process, whereas the API can actually make it quite self-service and instantaneous. The APIs are again very, very easy to integrate with, whereas the EDI integrations again require configuration per partner. It is quite well known that the traditional EDI system can struggle to scale up and down, whereas the API systems natively scale up and down. The APIs offer a very, very real-time interface to interact with the systems, where traditional EDIs are pretty much more of a batch in nature, or maybe you can reach towards near real-time, but not necessarily a real-time. And we all know that EDI is, while it is secure, it is not as secure as the API in terms of the OAuth and authentication, etc., right, which are there. So that way, these lot of challenges which we really see in the EDI could actually be addressed by the API. Again, here is an example. We worked with a large IT distributor, which has been our customer for a couple of years. They had a legacy EDI in terms of, with the programming language, they built the EDI transformation model, which was very, very hard for them to change. They got onboarded onto the Boomi platform in terms of their integration and EDI capability, but they did not stop there. What they really realized as they were expanding into the geographical region of Europe and United States, they realized that the client onboarding was becoming very, very challenging, and they cannot keep up with the demand of new client onboarding, as well as the traditional way of client onboarding was costlier to them. And having the API capability, where API could become a business enabler, allow you to self-service, allow the partner to be self-service on onboarding, picking up documents, identifying which documents they want to work with, understand the content of those particular APIs, and also kind of apply for an approval so that they can start interacting with that. That they realized, right, could particular approach, they could keep up on the demand of onboarding new partners in a much more quicker and better way. So here again, right, Boomi platform comes to help, where it has not only the integration capability and also a modern API, right, as Diego has just demonstrated, but another third aspect is an out-of-the-box API capability, which allows you to interact with the partners in a secure and a scalable manner. Again, the developer portal comes very, very handy with this, because that allows you to kind of share all your details, your developer journey. How do you really integrate with that? What type of documents are available, or what type of APIs are available? And a lot of recipes, right, in terms of how they can really integrate with their end ecosystems. The next one, right, which we actually touched upon a little bit in terms of our earlier challenges, and while we were sharing this, is the traditional API or traditional EDI does not necessarily offer a nice monitoring platform. What it really has, it doesn't contain reporting across the complete EDI chain, which is quite obvious, right? That if you have EDI, if you have, let's say, a managed services provider who would take care of your EDI. Then the reporting stops there. And after that, the reporting needs to only happen between your internal systems. You might have custom integration, you might have an ERP. So you have at least 3 systems, right, to take care of the end-to-end reporting, unless you are getting the data from all of these sources, trying to correlate and then present a picture. But that could also be challenging if you don't necessarily have a real-time analytics platform right on top of this. The correlation between documents is also not available in the traditional EDI platform. Monitoring capability, there's no, generally we haven't really found any proactive monitoring alerts capability in that. It is not necessarily, again, legacy EDI platforms where the interfaces are not necessarily very easy for the business users to go understand this, and maybe right at some point of time even try with different type of exceptions. And how do you handle those exceptions? One very normal process is to retry sending a particular document, but many of the traditional platforms does not offer that, and including they don't really offer the intuitive dashboard and analytics features right into that. What we again did right for one of our customers in this particular way, that they were using Boomi platform, right, and EDI capability as well as the integration capability. But the platform was actually being used across different business units across the enterprise. And those particular business units, right, were handling different types of data, different partners, different transactions, etc. And the business, right, did not wanted to give all that access to one particular operational user or set of operational user. They wanted a very fine-grained access in terms of who can access what type of transactions. And the EDI dashboard, which we built on top of the platform, allowing that fine-grained access with different privileges given to different user groups to either just view that document or view the errors, search for those errors, correlate the document, also see the notifications as they happen. If the document was expecting and you configure that, and if the document doesn't arrive in time, it can really create notifications into that. You could view all the transactions. You can filter by partner, by document type, by dates. You can actually look at or you can download the documents. You can download the document into a native EDI format, as well as a format which your ERP systems would pass on, or ERP system would accept. That kind of EDI operational dashboarding, right, provided a 360-degree view of the EDI transactions, right, and made it much more easier for businesses to manage that. And when we really go towards just-in-time kind of scheduling or just-in-time manufacturing, such features becomes very important, because it's not that you have all the material or supplier sitting in your warehouse long before you start producing that. So having that real-time dashboarding capability would allow you to take care of the scenarios which needs your personal attention, right? The other one which we want to talk about is this long tail of small size partners. We all assume here in this particular EDI transactions, right, is that the partners whom we are actually dealing with would have a lot of EDI capability, and the other side as well, they would be able to parse a EDI document. But many of the small size partners might not necessarily have the EDI capability. And in that case, in absence of any platform, they would start sending the documents in the way, and then it require manual handling on the side, right, of the partner, which manual handling again becomes costly, time consuming, as well as erroneous, right? It's prone to errors. What we could offer in such particular cases is a web interface to the partners, which could also be built on top of Boomi platform, as Diego earlier kind of mentioned about the Boomi flow. With Boomi flow, you can build the user journeys or the partner journeys, and the partners which doesn't have the EDI capability, we can offer them a portal where they can again self-service, they can log on, they can start accepting what type of documents they would like to exchange over this particular web portal. And once they log in, they would be able to see that whatever purchase orders, let's say they have sent, they can see that. If the purchase order has been accepted, then they would be able to see that on the portal. If the supplier has actually sent an invoice, then they would be able to see. They would be able to see the advance shipping notices or dispatch notices, etc. Right? They would also be able to kind of interact with the partner on that particular portal. So the cost of onboarding and transacting with those long tail partners, right, which are non-EDI compatible, becomes quite low, and managing that means the cost of business, right, earlier, which was happening due to delays, errors, missing a real-time visibility, etc., can also be handled in a quite a bit of nicer way. And again, as I kind of highlight this particular thing together, that this is all built in the Boomi or on top of Boomi platform. So you have one platform to take care of all your needs. Last but not the least, right, is that there are some partners who would be able to kind of, let's say, transact, but some partners who are actually sending you the paper invoices, or in some cases, you need to go and download the invoices from their particular portals. So that capability, right, once you get the paper invoices or even electronic PDF invoices or any other document for that matter, if you need to rekey that information into your system, or if you need to send that information again, prepare a PDF document, etc., and send it to them, the having a capability of OCR and maybe lightweight bots, right, lightweight RPA bots would be very, very handy. What we as NeosAlpha has done is enhance the Boomi platform with the capabilities of these particular OCR engine or the RPA bots in our platform, and offered it to our customers, who can then not only receive the PDF and the paper document, right, via emails or while downloading from those particular portals, being able to extract, and also with the Boomi's platform's integration capability, you can validate these documents before they go to ERP applications. One example of the validating could be that you want to do a SKU level pricing check, right? That what your customer has sent you is the price, which is what really has actually been agreed with the customer or not, right? And in that particular case, validating those documents and then only pushing to your ERP systems. So that again becomes very, very handy. With that, I pretty much come towards the end of my slides. What we really say that all these things put together, we can pretty much take care of any-to-any transactions or formats. And what I really mean by any-to-any is that no matter what your IT company landscape is, no matter what your IT partner capabilities are, no matter what type of documents you want to exchange, no matter what type of formats of these particular documents are, and whether they are standard or customizable, the Boomi platform and NeosAlpha solutions on the top and our managed services, you can optimize your business data exchange with your partner in a very, very capable way. With that, I will hand over to my host, Scott.
Perfect. And yeah, I think the last slide really that we're going to cover off before the Q&A is, I suppose, why choose NeosAlpha as your Boomi partner. I think firstly, like, our long-standing partnership with Boomi now spans over 8 years, during which I think we've consistently demonstrated excellence. We're proud that we've won the Practice Excellence Award for 3 consecutive years, really underscoring our commitment to quality and innovation. Our expert team now boasts over 200 plus Boomi certifications, and have decades of experience within the integration space, which really ensures that we can bring a deep technical knowledge and proven expertise to every project. Having delivered 100 plus EDI projects, I think we're proud of our 100% success rate, and I think we've achieved that through what we see as kind of proactive engagement style that really anticipates and addresses what our clients' needs are. We offer exceptional value for money. I think we have the option of our offshore delivery centres and flexible engagement models. So whether you require support with architecture, deployment, or managed services, we can provide a comprehensive solution that's very much tailored to your requirements. I think feedback as well that we consistently see is our ability to go above and beyond. Our domain expertise stretches beyond Boomi, and that really enables us not only to accelerate Boomi implementations, but to deliver custom and creative solutions. I think our team's functional understanding and experience spans across all Boomi services, not just EDI. Ensuring that we can meet all of your Boomi needs. So I think finally, no matter kind of where you currently are in your EDI journey, we would encourage you to reach out, and obviously we would be more than happy to arrange time to discuss how we can help you sort of drive your EDI initiatives forward. And I think with that, we will now move on to the Q&A. So there is a chat function available if you're willing. Happy to pop any questions in there, and I'm happy to put them to Mukesh and Diego, who I'm sure are a lot more capable at answering than me. Give it 30 seconds. There may not be any questions, but we'll hold off. Okay, so one question that's come through: how does the system alert users to failed transactions and errors? Which is probably one for you, Diego.
Yes, definitely. So, the Boomi platform does have many different, let's say, mechanisms to alert for, failed transactions and so on. During the design time, you can use try-catch shapes that can pick it up, that error in execution time, and follows, let's say, a catch path to treat that error. And on that treat path error, you can notify all the users, you can email people, you can create a sub-process to handle that error, no matter how you want to, let's say, treat that error, right? Another element as well in our platform, we have notifications on a platform-wide way where you can set up thresholds, you can set up error levels and log levels, so on. Since when a process or execution goes in error, you can get, notifications to your platform managers, to the platform users, so on and so forth, right? So there are different levels and different ways how the Boomi platform can help you to track and fix, the errors within your transactions.
Perfect. Thanks, Diego. I think another one for you. What compliance measures are in place for data privacy and security?
Awesome. That's a great question, Ryan. And one thing that we are very proud within Boomi is that we are the highest ranking iPaaS out there in the market, certified by the Security Scoreboard, which is, a third-party security auditor that, auditors many SaaS platforms out there in the market. So if you visit the website, search for Boomi, you see that Boomi is the highest ranking iPaaS, shining over many other players out there in the market. Right? And again, Boomi does hold many data privacy and security, certifications. We have, great data privacy measurements within our platform. Security, our legal team is always on board and up to date, with everything related to GDPR compliances and laws, where our platform needs to abide to, and so on. If there is anything specific that you might need for your requirements for your data privacy and so on, the Boomi team is more than happy to listen to your needs and try to accommodate in the best way possible. Thank you. Back to you, Scott.
Yeah, I think a couple more questions maybe for yourself. How frequently are updates and new features released?
Oh, not great questions. And again, Ryan, the testimony to, let's say, the innovative spirit of the Boomi platform is that we have update and new features released, right, every month. Apart from December, because we don't want to, be, let's say, messing up around December time, but every month you can expect new features be released via our platform. And that, I mean, new release, patches, fixing, updates to our connectors, new features, so on and so forth. So every single month, the Boomi platform is releasing, new platform features with innovation. Back to you, Scott.
Perfect. And then there's one more question. If EDI is completely bespoke, can we build this within Boomi ourselves, or is this where we would contact for support? I I think either of you can jump in there. I don't know, Mukesh, if...
So I can take that, right? So, as probably you would have seen that during the demo, right? Boomi is actually a low code platform. So anybody who has kind of basic understanding of how workflow and systems can connect to each other and what data has a functional understanding of what the data mapping would be, they would be able to work on that. So in this particular question, I'm expecting, right, that they are talking about the bespoke, document format or bespoke communication protocol. So yes, of course, right, you would be able to, what is there in the Boomi platform is that you can actually utilize the library which exists, but you don't necessarily have to use the document library. If the document is completely customizable, you can create a data profile and map that to your internal document formats, and then use the communication channels which are available right across many different types, from HTTP to FTP to SFTP to APIs, right? And would be able to kind of build yourself. And of course, right, if you need any expert help, where I think is doing that is a lot more easier, where I would recommend our customers, right, is to really look at the larger platform and see that, or larger needs, and see that how would you bring the reusability and lower code or kind of lower ownership, right, or lower cost of ownership into what you really do. But yes, again, right, a low code developer or low code citizen developer should be able to do what is being asked here.
Perfect. And I think that is the last question. So I think really that probably concludes today's webinar. Thank you to everyone for joining, obviously to Mukesh and also Diego for the demo and taking us through that information. I think we'll follow up an email in the coming days with the recording. But obviously feel free to reach out if you have any questions or you'd like to have a conversation about EDI. There is a contact us page on the NeosAlpha website, and there's also my email, which sent you the link for this webinar. So yeah, as I say, thanks to everybody for joining.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for your time.